1 in 10. That's how many people will become a victim of cybercrime.
If you've got your head in the sand thinking it won't happen to you, Schrock Innovations says it's time to face the numbers.
Thor Schrock is here to compute this morning from Schrock Innovations. Good to see you, Thor.
Good to see you. That's a visual right there. If you got your head in the sand, you know.
I think I have my head in the sand.
Well, no, but it's a good question because when you talk about cybercrime and how it affects people at home, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so basically, we knew people were victimized by cybercrime. We had a story this week on the news about a couple that came all the way up to Omaha from Texas to buy that RV. That's a cybercrime. They got scammed on Craigslist. They sent money. They showed up. They got hit. All the way through to the customer in my Lincoln Service Center this week that had all of her files encrypted on her hard drive when she got hit with ransomware, and she had to pay $600 in Bitcoin to get her files
More
back.
sophisticated type of cybercrime.
Yeah, so it runs the gamut. Basically, anything that has to do with you being on the internet and getting scammed out of money is cybercrime. And we knew it was bad, but we had no idea until these stats came out of the UK where they actually interviewed people. And they said, have you ever been a victim in the last 12 months of any kind of cybercrime? 1 in 10 in the last 12 months. So 1 in 10 per year will be impacted.
I don't feel like I've ever, that I know of, have been a victim of cybercrime.
Oh yeah, I got hit once.
What's that?
I got hit once.
You got hit once.
Oh yeah.
But are you seeing it coming into your service? How often are you seeing it?
I'd say it's about half our business. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, seriously, getting viruses off people's computers, getting infections removed. You know, and the sad part is, it's like, you know, it's one thing when you have a virus and it's like it's a bummer. You have to pay a couple hours of labor to get it removed. It's another thing when, like, this was a sweet old lady, and she's on the phone and she's crying because all of the pictures of her deceased husband are encrypted. All of her videos are encrypted. She wants them back. She needs to get them back. And we have to tell her, well, we can pay the ransom, but you're paying the ransom to a criminal, so there's no guarantee you're going to get your stuff back. But we can try, and it's going to be like $600 to $800 to try. And so she had us try. Luckily, we got everything back for her. But then the next thing is I said, listen, would you please come on my radio show? Will you please come on the TV segment with me? Because it's one thing to hear me say all this stuff, and people are like, oh, Thor, you know, whatever. It's another thing to have a real person that really got hit to come on and say this stuff. And she wouldn't do it because she was embarrassed.
Well, see, that's the thing. You're the victim. You don't feel good about doing
I tried to tell her.
it.
It's the same thing as if you were downtown and someone put a gun in your back and said, give me all your money, lady. It's the same thing. There's nothing for you to be ashamed about. She was like, what did I do wrong? I had antivirus software. I have a guy who's in the computer field. What did I do wrong? And you have to try to tell me, you didn't do anything to deserve this. You didn't open a stupid email or, you know, there wasn't something you could have done differently aside from just not getting on the internet, you know, that would have prevented this from happening. Now, there are things you can do to protect yourself to keep you from becoming a victim so that somebody else is the 1 in 10. But aside from that, and you thought you were doing those things already with the antivirus you had.
So what do you think? I mean, what do you recommend Secure Updater?
Absolutely.
Right. Explain what that is, and then I have a couple follow-up questions for you.
Well, here's the problem. This lady that this happened to was running AVG. And the guy that she talked to wasn't a computer repair shop or anything, just a tech guy that she knew said, AVG is all you need. And 10 years ago, yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah.
Not now, not anymore. AVG, McAfee that you get free from Cox, Avast, any of those, they're worthless on your computer. I would use a different 4-letter word, but we're on TV. I mean, that's how strongly I feel about it, because I get the calls from people who are crying when they believe it's going to work and it doesn't. So here's the thing, though. You know, we recommend Endpoint for antivirus. I get it. Endpoint, it's the best of the best. It keeps you safe, but it's $160 the first time you install it, and it's $60 each additional year. So for people who are never paying for antivirus in their life, to go from there to paying for it, that's a big step. So if you're going to stick with the freebie stuff, if that's all you can afford, it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Get Secure Updater to at least keep that third-party stuff up to date. Unrelated story, 52 vulnerabilities patched last week in Flash. One
Through
update.
Secure Updater.
Wow.
Well, no, that was everybody. If you didn't install your Flash patch last week, you have 52 vulnerabilities.
But Secure
that's how
Updater would
she
have
got hit.
updated that?
Secure Updater would have kept her safe. That's how this lady got hit. So that's the thing. Just do the trial at least. Get it patched. I spent a whole half hour on my radio show. Like, listen, I'm going to spend a half an hour on this. It's going to cost me a bunch of money to tell you all this, and like 5 people are going to do it.
Yeah.
But
Secure Updater. If you get Secure Updater, how do your odds go down from getting an attack on your computer?
Let's put it this way. When you put Secure Updater and Endpoint together to protect a computer, the odds of getting infected are so low that if you get infected at Schrock, we fix it for free. I mean, it's that low because it just doesn't happen. We might get 1 or 2 a quarter, but it's that low. Now, if you're going to use something like AVG or Avast, it keeps you safe from all the the plotting threats, but the really advanced stuff, it goes right through it. So for Secure Updater there, closes the vulnerabilities. It's not antivirus. It works with your antivirus because the fewer doors you have going into your digital house, the harder it is for a bad guy to get in. And this secure updater closes doors so that you don't end up getting, clickjacked is what they call it. You get clickjacked.
Did you see WikiLeaks release some information from the Democrats, the Democratic National Party?
Yep.
Should they have used Secure Updater? How did they hack into these type of things?
Well, that's a little weird because the Russians actually hacked into the DNC. They admitted doing it too.
Oh, they
the
did.
Russians hacked into the DNC computers and they got all the emails and then they sent them to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks doesn't actually hack things. WikiLeaks
release
just
the
posts
information,
things
okay.
that people give them, and they only released about half. So my guess is the day before Hillary is supposed to speak, there's going to be the other half. That'd be my guess. And also, news is now illegal in China on the internet. You cannot report news on the internet, or you will be fined and go to jail, which we all know what that means in China.
You're full of good news.
Yeah, it's a happy day. Just
but
keep your computer safe.
Right, Secure Updater.
Right.
The website is secureupdater.com, or you can just go to SchrockInnovations.com. He's got 3 locations around the Omaha-Lincoln area. You've got one in Village Point, one in Papillion, and in Lincoln. And the Lincoln location is South Lincoln, right?
Yeah, 27th and Pine Lake Road.
1 in 10 victims of cybercrime. So
This
get
year.
your head out of the sand.
Yeah, look around work and look at 10 people at work. 1 of the 10 of you got scammed. You can all talk about it. So you can start a contest like, what's the worst you've ever been scammed? My worst was $400.
I'm sure there's probably some good stories in
what
this
happened?
building.
I knew it was high risk when I did it, but we were getting into a point where we were ordering stuff from overseas, and I had a vendor who represented himself as an international vendor and order samples. So I sent him $400 and I never got the samples.
There you go.
Thor got duped.
I got duped.
So, but he can help you from doing the same.
But I
Thank
learned.
you
You
very
did
much.
learn, yeah.
Learning
Thor,
is the
thanks a
most
lot.
important thing.
A great way to cool off in the